Folks, more and more people are proving they don't want these types of homes. I'll get into that and then the latest home prices and insights for the City of Toronto for week ending January 8th, 2025. When you speak with car enthusiasts or anybody that's even just a little bit into cars, and the conversation rolls around to manual transmission versus automatic, hands down, most cases, manual transmission is the way to go. They'll talk about, the feel of the car, and manual is the best way. When you talk about convertible, non-convertible, easy. The convertible is the cool way to go. In fact, you could see 1,000 cars going down the road, but when the convertible passes, you'll take a pause and kind of look at it and think, wow, that's pretty cool. Even if you're not into cars at all. If you get into a car and somebody's driving manual, you're thinking, good for them. That's pretty cool that they can do that. And most people appreciate the convertible and think it's cool when they see it. But if you go into a dealership and you try to buy, or that model you want to buy, you say, I want that in convertible and I want that as manual, good luck. You will be hard pressed to find any car these days, manual and convertible, or one or the other. Manufacturers have gotten away from that. Now, why would they though? If so many people think this is cool, why would manufacturers not build these cars anymore? It's really hard to find a convertible. It's really hard to find a car. Even high performance cars, it's really hard to find them in manual. Well, the reality is lots of people talk about it, but when it comes to voting, they vote with their dollars. And they're just not buying these types of cars. So the manufacturers of automobiles build what people are actually buying. And it's not the manual and it's not the convertible. Well, this is not a car show. This is a real estate show. So let's get back to real estate. I received a call the other day. I receive this type of call often. A potential seller calls me and says, look, I'm looking to put my home on the market, but I'm thinking of converting my basement into a basement apartment. Or I'm thinking of building a garden suite. Or I'm thinking of building a laneway house and then selling my home. And I want to do that to increase the value. How much more can I get for my home? Or Santo, what do you think about me doing this to sell for a much higher price? And the reality is, those conversions to your home, the secondary suite, whether it's a basement apartment, whether it's a garden suite or a laneway house, these are with my experience, these are some of the more challenging properties to sell. I know in theory it makes sense. All the politicians are talking about more density, and there's all sorts of plans and schemes out there to entice you to get more people living into the same home, and making homes, even if they're purpose built right from the manufacturer, right from the builder, I said manufacturer, I'm still thinking about cars, right from the builder, making them purpose built secondary suites, or you converting, or there's so many companies now promoting the laneway house. It's just not translating to what buyers are actually buying. These properties, whether I'm working for the seller or I'm working for the buyer, have been some of the more challenging properties to sell. I've started off early on with a buyer consultation where the buyer will say, I want a home that I could rent the basement. But when we go into these, many of them have changed their mind along the way when they actually look at the reality of either what these costs or how they're living with somebody else in a house would actually be in reality. So yes, there's a lot of talk. You speak to your cousin, you speak to your neighbor, and it's like, yeah, cool. Basement apartment would be great. That's what everybody wants because homes are so expensive. But that's not. With the people voting are the buyers that are actually buying. That's not necessarily where they're putting their money. It is those, as I say, are some of the more challenging sales out there. So My advice would be this. If you are a homeowner and you're looking to convert your basement to an apartment or add a laneway house or any other scenario where you get added living quarters there, and then you make it a secondary suite, or more people could live, a duplex, triplex, whatever kind of conversion you're thinking of. If you're doing it for you and it's going to make your life better and you're going to enjoy and keep that property for yourself for a while, knock yourself out. It's going to help you out. Good for you. But if you're doing that kind of a conversion just for selling, the resale, it's probably not going to work out the way you're expecting. Really, really do your homework out there. That's the state of the market now. I don't know what it's going to be like in the future if all of a sudden those become the more popular homes. But right now, they are the more challenging sales that are out there. So if you think this video can help somebody you know, pass it along. If you want to speak with me about your real estate situation, selling, buying, it's really simple. Below this video in the description, there's a link to my calendar. Click on that, book a time that's convenient for you, and we'll talk about whatever's on your mind. Now, let's get into the numbers. Here we go, folks. We're kicking the year off with the first full week ending January the 8th. But before I get into that, let's just summarize a little bit of what we saw. These are monthly numbers. I've got every month going back from December 2024 going back to 2020 December. And the black highlights the numbers for December. So let's just look at the sales really quick. And this is just for detached properties and only in the city of Toronto. For a month ending December that just passed, December 2024, 309 detached properties were sold for the month of December. The previous year was 371. The year before that, back in 2022, was 307. Before that was 562, and December 2020, 649. So sales are way down from where we were December 20 and December 21. Not that far off from December 2022. It's basically we're off by 2, but sales are much slower than December last year. Those are sales. Let's look at average sold price. For December 2024, average sold price of detached properties for the city of Toronto is $1,625,000 compared to December last year. Well, we're down by 0.2%. So it's virtually the same. We're just a smidgen down, not by much. Compared to 2022, the year before that, we're down 0.5%. So still not a big change over the last 2 years. And I'm kind of saying this because there's, even on this channel, we talk about where prices are going up and down and, they're trending down. The C word, crash, has not really showed itself. I mean, prices are down, but by 0.5%, by 0.2%. When we compare to 2021, we're down 4.2%. But we're going back to 2021 now. When we compare to 2020, we are up close to 10%. We're up 9.8% from where prices were. So from being up to being down, it's really the 2020, 2021 time period is where things change. And then at the beginning of 2022, we had our peak and things kind of dropped, but they haven't really, boom, they've been slowly trending down once we got out of this peak. People will often ask me, Santo, I want to buy when prices are the lowest. That's a nice, it makes sense, right? You want to buy when prices are the lowest and you want to sell when prices are the highest. That's just normal. The trick is knowing when that's going to happen, and no one really has a crystal ball. But if we look back to see what people actually did, we do our most amount of sales, so more properties get sold when prices are the highest. More properties get sold every year. We do far more sales when average sold prices are the highest. It's hard to explain more than what I just said. In reality, buyers tend to buy more at the point where prices are the highest. As prices tend to come down, buyers back off. The opposite of what kind of makes sense, right? Months of inventory for December 2024 sitting at 4.2. This time 1 year ago, it's basically half. It was sitting at 2.2. We're now at 4.2 months of inventory. Okay, let's get started. We're going to be looking at the City of Toronto only. This is for the freehold market, detached, semis, towns. I do have condos here just for reference. Average price for condo, $607,000. Average price for detached is $1,408,000. Keep in mind, this is for week ending January the 8th, the first full week of the new year. This market is just starting to wake up. We're coming out of the holiday season. Don't take these numbers so serious as being indicative of, everything real estate. We're just starting off. So for week ending January the 8th, 46 detached properties were sold in the City of Toronto. 6 of those were at $2 million or more. The fact that sales are increasing is normal. That's what we would expect. We saw it last year. We saw it the year before, the year before, the year before. You can go on forever. Sales tend to go up this time of the year, heading towards the spring market. Average sold price, $1,408,000. 1,408 is 6% higher than where we were this time a year ago. The median price of $1,203,000 is 5% higher year over year. The dotted line, that's a 4-week moving average. There's 3 months on the board here. And over the last 3 months, both average price and median price have been trending downward. 46 were sold, 15% sold at list price or more. If we are looking at week over week on this chart for most of the show, we started off month over month. Let's look at year over year. This is just for sales. 2023 versus 2024. This is just for sales of detached properties in the City of Toronto. We're actually, for the year finished 2024, we're up 504 sales, which is a 7.3% increase. Sales in 2024 versus 2023. Again, just for detached properties and only in the City of Toronto. 225 were listed. So listings are jumping up, which is normal. This is what we would expect. More and more sellers now want to come onto the market as we head into, I'm saying spring, it's still winter, but we're coming out of the holiday season. But a lot of these are also relists from listings that didn't sell in the fall that are coming back onto the market. Active listings as such is increasing. Months of inventory sitting at 5.9 months of inventory. You could see how going towards the end of the year, months of inventory was climbing. It will stable off now as we get more into the real estate market. That's the whole City of Toronto. Let's look at Toronto broken down into 9 sections. Now, often when the market is running at full tilt, there's not a huge difference from one section to another in months of inventory. And on this show, I've often pointed it out. We're 2.3 here, we're 3.2 there. It's not a big difference. But right now, different attitudes across the city. So Scarborough sitting at 3.7 months of inventory. Uptown, 23.3. Midtown, 14.8. Etobicoke, 9.4. Weston, Yorkdale, 4.4 months of inventory. And that's just because few sales, a few extra more sales. There's not a lot of sales yet, so we're not really into the swing of things. But if you are someone who's looking to, say, buy in one area, sell in the other, different worlds oftentimes when it comes to the real estate market. Here's semi-detached properties. 17 were sold for week ending January the 8th. Average price is $989,000. That's the lowest we've seen in a long time for average price. But remember what I said, don't take these numbers too serious. 989 is 17% lower. The median price of 950 is 21% lower year over year. Months of inventory sitting at 3.1 months of inventory. Here's townhouses. The previous week we had 0 sales of freehold townhouses. This week, January the 8th, we have 4. Average price is $1,063,000. $1,063,000 is 15% higher year over year. The median is also 15% higher, and months of inventory sitting at 5.7, which is the highest we've seen in a long time, but we're just getting started. Here's a quick summary of months of inventory. In most cases, you're going to experience either a balanced market or a slight buyer's market. There is lots of competition out there. There is lots of inventory available for sale. Thanks for watching. Have an awesome day.